Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pippa and this is Pan Those Eyeshadows. This is like my update 6. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Okay, so for this project I have 5 eyeshadows in currently. And I'm going to be going through them in a random order, telling you how much use I have on them this month and showing you some exciting new developments in the project. So let's just get started. Okay, so the first shade is the shade that's been in this project the longest, and it's in my James Charles Morphe palette, but it's actually from the Aha Honey palette. But it's this shade over here. It's in the Space of Face from the James Charles palette. And I don't know if you can see that, but we do have a shiny new pan, which is super exciting. I did not think I was going to hit pan on this shade. It did have a huge dip in it, but I do know how stubborn these mattes are. So if you look there, very exciting. And I used this 10 times this month for a total of 21 uses in the project to hit pan. And I think I used it probably twice afterwards to just expand the pan a little bit, because it was very much like a pinprick pan, but I didn't use it much afterwards. So that is my first shade, which we did have hit pan on, which is very exciting. My second shade has been in here second longest, and it is from this Revlon Not Just Nudes palette, and it is the darkest shade in the palette, which is this one over here. And again, as you can see, we have hit pan, which is so exciting. This one I used an extra, this one's only been in the project 1 month. I used it 6 times to hit pan. It did have a big dent in it already from prior use. I used it mainly in my eyebrows and as an eyeliner. I used it, all those 6 times I used it twice as an eyeliner and as a eyebrow shade, so essentially 12 times, but I just can't if I dip into it for a look. So that is that shade, which we again can roll out, which is super exciting. The next shade is not so exciting. It's from this Modern Matte palette. We did luckily hit pan in the pink shade last month, but we rolled in this green shade, and I have only used this 5 times, which seems like quite a lot, but it actually turned out a lot of the time that I used this I really did not use much, and I was really struggling with the shade. If it continues to be a struggle, I might roll it out, but I'm just going to keep persevering, try using it as an eyeliner. But yeah, that's that shade, as you can see, after 5 uses. So that will be staying in the project, and I'll swatch the ones that are staying in. So there's that shade. As you can see, it's more of a bluey green than it is a yellowy green. So I tried to use it with that one in the James Charles palette, but it didn't quite work because of that blue undertone. So I'm gonna have to do it with more blue looks, or more, I don't know, we'll have to give it a chance and see what happens. But that is that first shade that's staying in. The next shade that unfortunately is also staying in, although I'm quite happy about it, is from my Rose Quartz HUDA Beauty palette, and it is the shade Precious, which is the shade right at the end here. I'm actually wearing this shade on my eyes today. Really enjoy the shade. I have used it never mind. I've used this shade 9 times, which is quite a lot. I use it quite a lot as just a crease shade when I'm blending out, like a one and done kind of, and then pop a shimmer on top. It's really beautiful. I'll definitely get to 30 uses before I get to pan on this shade. It's very very hard pressed, but it is absolutely beautiful. I do love it. I'm so glad to be getting use on this palette. So that is that shade over there, which is also staying in, and that has again 9 uses on it. So that will be staying in for probably another 2 months. And the last shade in the project is from the Smashbox palette, and it is the shade Siesta, which is which is this first shade. over here, this pinky shade. I'm kind of regret I chose to roll this in because I didn't have any shimmers, and I'm kind of regretting rolling this exact shimmer in. It's not exactly, it's quite warm compared to my other colors, but it is really, really beautiful, and I can wear it with Precious if I feel like it. So I'm going to keep it in. I've used this color or the shade 5 times this month. I've used it with my fingers, so there's not much of a dent in it at all, but it is really beautiful, I must say. So I'm excited to keep using that. Okay, and now for the most exciting part. I have my Tiny Decisions app with all of my eyeshadow palettes on it loaded, and we're gonna roll in 2 new palettes for this month. So the first one is going to be the Colourpop Main Squeeze palette. So this is the first palette that we're going to be rolling in. This is edited. I have moved shades around, but this is what my palette's looking like at the moment. It has 9 shades. So in my random number generator, I'm going to put in 1 to 9 and see which color we get. Okay, so in the number generator is 1 to 9, and we're just going to generate a random number. And it's number 1, which is this shade over here. It's the lightest pink, which is quite nice. I can use this a lot with that siesta shade. Quite excited about it. It is another matte. I keep rolling matte into this project, and it is a Colourpop matte, so it will be quite hard to pan on, but it is quite a nice light shade, so hopefully it won't be too hard. So there's that shade swatched out. As I suspected, it is way too dark to use as a setting shade, so I will be using that as a crease shade, but it does go quite lovely with Siesta, and actually it does go quite nicely with Precious too. It's quite warm toned, but I imagine if you blend Precious out a bit into it, it will become quite cool toned, so I can imagine making quite a lot of pretty looks with that. Let's roll in one more palette. Okay, so that is my Beauty Treats Modern Matte, which is this palette. I'm going to roll again because I've already got this palette in and I have a green and I really don't want to work on another matte. So we're going to roll again. Okay, so that is my Revolution Reloaded Iconic Division palette. Then we grab that and let's see what we will work on from that. So this is that palette. I've only got pan and 1 shade in this, and it is the matte brown. Let's see what we roll in. It's quite a nice color palette for this time of year. It is winter here, so I'm quite excited to work on this. It has 15 shades and 1 has pan, so I'm going to put in 1 to 14 and work row by row. So this will be 1, this will be 14. Okay, so let's generate a number. Okay, number 11. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it is actually one of the warmest tones in this palette, but this is actually a shadow with a lot of use on it. Let me try it and see how we go. I might roll it out next month just because I've had a lot of yellows in this project. But I'll give it a try and see how it goes. And I do know these pans are also extremely, extremely deep. So either I'll keep it in and go till 30, or I might roll it out next month, depending on how I'm feeling about it, because I've just so burnt out on yellows. So I'll swatch that out and then I'll show you my full color story. Okay, so that is the full color story. So that's with the shade 11 from that Revolution Reloaded palette at the bottom. So that's going to be my color story for this month. I'm quite excited. That Reloaded Revolution shade will go nicely with the Colourpop shade, which will go, and so these 3 could make a nice little look at the bottom here. This one I'll just use organically, and this one I'm also not so sure. I might end up rolling that out along with this one next month, because I'm going to have like a bit of a refresh next month. So that is my color story for now, and yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for joining me today, and I've just put my entire hand into this eyeshadow palette. Now there's brown in the green and black in the brown. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, well, have a great month ahead of you, and I shall see you next month for my next update. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.